Okay, we are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Alicia Costanzo. This is my bestie, Becky. We're
Hi.
both writers and readers and obviously best friends. So we're just going to talk. Um, I know you've been on vacation. I didn't get to hear about what you were, I don't social media very often. I don't follow
It,
posts and that.
it has been a summer.
Mm-hmm.
So, the kids got out of school. I had surgery on both of my knees, and then it was a rush to move. And so we got through the move on the California end. Um, that was smooth on that end. And then we shipped to the cars, which we had a little bit of trouble with that, but it finally worked its way out. So we flew out. So we got here before the cars, before all of our stuff. Spent a week in downtown DC, like right on Embassy Road. So we were, doing all of the museums and stuff while my children melted because they were used to Monterey weather and not, normal summer weather. So that was fun. Um, and then we flew down to Miami and we spent a couple of nights. My father-in-law has a condo in South Beach, so we spent a couple of nights there, and then got on board a cruise. We went cruising around the Caribbean for a week, and that was amazing. And I keep trying to find ways to go and do it again. And then we came back, got moved into the townhouse, and we just spent the last couple of weeks like getting everything set up, getting the kids registered in school, making sure Zach was ready to start his classes. And so everybody's in school and doing their thing. They started on Monday. So I get like the daytime to relax, but then Connor's birthday is tomorrow. Today they get out of school and then they have like there's a dental appointment at 5 and then there's like soccer at 6 for the other one. And of course they're on opposite ends of town and Zach has class, so it's just me.
Oh, goodness.
So yeah, it's fun. How's your summer?
Being mom. Most of it was me being burnt out. I'm on the tail end of my 2 week vacation from writing,
Hmm.
ghost writing, because I wrote
Right.
7 books last year. So, right, 60,000 word books. Yeah, so I needed a 2 week break. It feels like it's been no time at all, but I get a new book on Friday. So I was when I hit my break, I was like, I'm going to do all these things to like on my 6 month to change my life as an author challenge. And do you know how much stuff I did in reality? Not a whole lot. Not a whole lot. I might get 2 stories finished. I'm working on editing. I have 6 stories already written. They just need edited and covered and like uploaded and stuff. So like if I can get my formatting done in the next couple of days of these short stories, I will feel good about myself. But I have not done. I've read some books. I've played that. I've just not done stuff really. Which
I had it in my head that like as soon as everybody was out of the house, I was going to start getting a lot of stuff done. Like I was going to start like focusing on some of the alternative photography processes that I wanted to do some more work with. All these things. And you know what I've done the last couple of days? You want to know what my schedule looks like when everybody's gone? So I wake up at 6:30, get the kids up, get them ready. And most mornings Zach is here to help me, but this morning he had to go do the advanced motorcycle safety riders or whatever. Um, so he wasn't here this morning. But it's get up at 6:30, get the kids up, get ready, get myself dressed, and then Taylor's school is only about a half a mile away. So I walk her to school, drop her off. Connor rides his bike to his middle school. Your godson is in middle school now. Rude. Um,
rude. I'm getting
and
older
then
is
I go
rude.
for a walk. So if it's just a walk day, like yesterday, I meant to go for like a 4 mile walk. It wound up being almost 6 because I took a wrong turn when I was talking to Shayna on the phone and I wasn't paying attention. So that happened. But I'll go for a walk. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays it's a bit shorter, a couple miles shorter because I come home and I do a dumbbell workout routine right there on the other side of my table. And I'll take my time with that. Then I'll go eat breakfast, take my time. And my initial thought was, okay, after that, I'll go get in the shower and then start my day. Do I do that? No. You know what I do? I spend another hour and a half putting on tanning lotion and going out on my rooftop terrace and tanning because why the fuck not? And then I come in and I take a shower and I sit down. And the last couple of days, I've started writing again. So I sit down and I write. And that eats, and then lunch, and that eats up almost all of my day. And then at like 2:25, I have to leave to go pick her up, and then I walk another mile to go get her and come back. And that's what I do during the day. And it feels like there's not enough hours in the day because last year I got very used to the kids were in an after school program, so they didn't come home until between 5 and 6 o'clock in the evening. So I got very used to having this like extended time period to get things done and take my time with stuff. And because once I get a job, I am no longer paying $500 a month for that bullshit. So.
You say $500 a month for after school program?
Yeah, for one kid.
Oh my goodness.
Connor's old enough, but like I said, he's riding his bike to and from school by himself. He's looking at joining a couple of the clubs that they have available at the middle school. So, he'll probably end up being entertained. Both of them start soccer. Taylor today, Connor tomorrow. He's got his first practice on his birthday. So he's, thrilled about that. But yeah, Taylor's the sticky one because she's only 6. So she's the one that eats up my time. And oh my God, that kid is demonic. She's so bad. She's like, so everybody watching won't really get this, but Alicia, you will. So she's like teenage Hannah, young Emma, add speed. Not velocity, like the drug. And you get Taylor at 6 years old. And also add her father's intelligence in there too. She's a shithead. She's so bad.
Oh my God. Just from the little bit I've gotten to see her in the background, obviously when I came to see you. Yeah, I can see that.
She's something. And her and Connor, they fight over the stupidest shit. I swear to God, they would fight over who was breathing whose air if they could. Like, it's
siblings. You remember what that's like.
Yeah, and I remember Hannah and Emma fighting a lot. And more viciously, but not as often, and not about the stupid shit that these two fight over. Like, it's insane.
That reminds me of how my brother and I used to just about stupid shit all the time.
I wonder if that's just the thing about having an older brother. Like, you're just doomed to fight with them constantly. I wouldn't know because I don't have one, but I did fight with Andy all the time. So there's that,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think there's something about a big brother that, like, being bigger, stronger, and being a boy makes them more feel like they domineer. Yeah. It doesn't always work because the strong little girls are gonna fight back. So that's what I think in that regard. Yeah.
Yeah, she's something. So let me tell you, and they got out of school at the beginning of June in California. They didn't start school until this Monday. So it's almost 3 months of them being home. And, with me having been on bed rest and recovery, like, we weren't getting out. They weren't getting a lot of time away from each other. So by the time I was off bed rest and able to, like, go do things by myself, I was ready to start, like, I don't know, self-medicating or something. Like, I was so annoyed. So yeah, that's how that's been going.
I don't miss. I mean, I never really. I had them for like 2 weeks in the summer a lot of the time, and then we just had the boy, so like we didn't have the siblings fighting all the time. Yeah. But after 2 weeks in the summer with me and the kid while he was at school, this is the reason why I don't have any of my own. I don't envy you it, but I know they're worth it. They're worth it. It's just a very frustrating time right now.
I'm hoping that, like, because they're in different schools this year, that'll help. I don't know if they'll be in different schools when we get to Japan next year. It's entirely possible that they end up in a K through 12 international, so I don't know. We'll see.
How are they doing with the moves? Are they kind of used to it by now, or do they kind of throw a fuss each move?
They're doing good with it. Connor was a little upset. So the townhouse that we're in is 4 stories, right? And so
That's
the
tall.
first floor, I know, the first floor has like there's like a living room and a bathroom and a bedroom, and then like storage and stuff. The second floor is just the main living area, so the kitchen, the living room, half bath, dining area. The third floor has another bedroom and hall bath, and then the master suite. And then the fourth floor is this like open loft area with there's a bathroom right there, and then over here in front of me to my right is the door to the rooftop terrace. And so I didn't really want any of the kids up here. I didn't really think that was a great idea. And as far as putting one of them on the first floor, I felt like, with Connor being 5 years older and, having had some independence to run around a little bit, I felt like that was a better choice than putting Taylor down there because, she's a devil. And Connor's not happy with this because being on the first floor, even when we have, like, we're set at like 73 degrees in here, but being on the hot air rises, so all of the cold air sinks. So it's a lot colder in his room. Poor kid. He can't win.
You don't like it cold? I would love it cold.
I'm like, but you have your own room. You have your own bathroom. You have a living room with a TV that you have better access to than your sister does. The Xbox is down
Pretty
there.
much have your own floor.
Yeah. Put on some fuzzy socks and get over it.
Welcome back to the East cold as well.
You know what, though? Like, I'm excited to have seasons because the weather in Monterey never changed. It was, it ranged between like high 40s and mid 60s throughout the year. We got, I think in the year and a half we were there, I think we had like noticeable rain like 4 times. It was either one of the rare sunny days or it was foggy. And don't get me wrong, like there was a lot that we really enjoyed about being out there, but I missed having like seasons and weather. And I went a year and a half without a single thunderstorm. I was so mad.
I like thunderstorms, but not in this house. So I like weather, but not in this house. Although we've been able to combat the heat this year, which is nice. So this 100, 115 degree days, I'm usually wearing a sweater. Like it's hot out, I'm in a sweater. It's fine.
Everything's fine.
Yeah. As long as in the winter our pipes don't freeze again, I'll still be fine. Which we got it fixed, and they were insulated before and they are now. So yeah, we went a week without water.
I was walking around this morning in a tank top and some biker shorts because, why am I going to overload myself if I'm going to be out walking for a few miles? And everybody, like, I'm like everywhere. People are hoodies and 71 degrees out. And I remember there was a time when I went from New York to Texas, the first time I ever went to Texas. It was in like November. And it was like 72, 73 degrees out, and everybody's walking around in hoodies. And I'm like, let's go to the beach. And people are looking at me like I'm psycho. And now it's kind of like that again. And I'm like, y'all don't get it. Plus, the water's warmer here. The water on the West Coast was very cold.
Yes.
Oh, there are places here where I can find shark teeth. So I had to graduate to a mason jar because I found like 400 new teeth.
Nice.
Very.
So you said you've gotten back into writing?
I did, yeah. I wrote, I think it was about 400 words on Monday and about another 500 yesterday. I don't know that I'm necessarily happy with some of what I've got down, but I keep reminding myself that's an editing problem. That's not a now problem.
Get the words first, worry about just getting some out, and then you can't fix nothing. So,
well, some of it's kind of like the boring stuff. It's the connective tissue that makes the story meaty. So it's not like we're not in an action scene right now. It's, we're meeting new characters and there's some politics involved, but it's not, super exciting stuff. It's necessary. It has to be
Mhm.
there, but it's not, the fun stuff.
You're building the story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those parts are harder to write for me, honestly. Like, I mean, if things are moving quickly, I'm like, I can knock it out. But some of the connective tissue, I'm just like, ugh, have to. Yeah.
I'm one of those like bare bones kind of people when it comes to the world and like the reader needing to know why what's happening is happening versus me needing to know why what's happening is happening. I'm just like, I don't know if you need to know why this is happening. I'm just gonna let it happen and you can make your own connections. I'm one of those kinds of writers, but that is probably not good for an epic because I don't write epics. So, yeah. I know that that's a lot of world building is necessary for that. Mine are set urban, so like the rules of this world are pretty self-explanatory because we live here. But
Yeah.
there's vampires too.
I think, like, honestly, I think if I was like not interested in going the traditional publishing route, I would be doing a lot more as far as like world building and character depth and like, because there are some characters that just don't need as much depth. A little bit, yeah, but not a whole lot. But I think I would take it to a next level if I was not worried about word count and like how long the stupid thing's gonna be and all that fun shit. But
Which is something you have to worry about for your first books being published. Once you build a fan base, you're allowed to explore a little bit more with work. I mean, look at Brandon Sanderson's books. Those things are like 1,000 pages each. So
did you hear what happened there the other day?
no, what happened? Did something happen with Brandon Sanderson?
So him and George R. R. Martin. So I didn't see this. Like I didn't sit down and like try to find the video, but I've seen a lot of like book reviewers and people who are very into the literary world talking about it all over social media. So I mean, it's one of those things like take it with a grain of salt because, like I said, I haven't seen it for myself. Um, but apparently there was some sort of a convention and both of them were on a panel, and my understanding is that somebody, I could be wrong, but I have heard that somebody in the crowd asked Martin when he was going to die so Sanderson could finish his series.
Oh my god. I mean, burn, but that's just so inappropriate.
Well, yeah, I mean, it really is. But to give the guy his due, like, there's a lot of people thinking it. It's not just the one-off guy. But you don't say that to the man's face. Like, the man is a very good writer. It takes a long damn time. Like,
I don't know.
That was probably a dumb shit thing to ask. Like,
hopefully, George R. R. Martin isn't mad at Brandon Sanderson for that because it's not like he prompted that to happen or anything, or that that's his fault. But I know a lot of authors can also be petty because we're creatives, and then our egos get in the way sometimes, and we got a lot of pride. So I hope that doesn't like cause a realistic rift between if like those two know each other well.
yeah, that was
wow, just wow. Oh my goodness. I feel like there's always some kind of drama in the book world. But Betty Ann and I talk about those all the time. Did you hear about the woman who tried to copyright the word cocky? Or trademark the word cocky? And like she went and submitted her trademark for it. She had like the Cocky Brothers series or the Cocky series or whatever, and started sending out cease and desist letters to people saying you can't use this word now because I have the trademark, but she didn't get the trademark.
See, I'm petty enough I would have turned around and sued her for harassment. Like
didn't need to. She was supposed to appear at court and like kept missing it because of mental health reasons. And then like took a car out, drove crazy, crashed it, got arrested. Like she went full blown weird, crazy.
Oh boy.
Which, yeah. So there's shit like that happens, or like new authors putting 1-star reviews on the people who blurb their book for them. and shit and getting their book canceled because that's not how you behave.
Yeah.
There was another one recently I just saw that copied a fan fiction and pretty much just like almost word for word, scene by scene, copied a fan fiction, but with vampires, and is getting called out for it now. So, and that person who wrote the fan fiction is finally getting their book published. And we were actually going to publish that for that first person until I found all of those things listed on Goodreads. And I was like, well, boss lady, we should probably not get connected to this. Probably not a good idea.
There's a woman that I follow on TikTok. Shout out to her. Her tag is just being Melanie. She started this whole thing a few months ago where she calls it the We Do Not Care Club. And she started it for women who are in or about the middle age era, like either in peri, current, or post menopause. And it's just putting the world on notice that we just do not care that much anymore.
I have seen this. And a lot of the things they've listed on there.
Well, she wrote a book. And it's up on Amazon. And somebody is trying to, I don't know if he's trying to do some sort of like a drop ship thing. Some guy, his name's Oscar or something, stole a picture from her book, changed the little sticker on it. She had put a sticker on the book that says "We do not care about whatever." So he just kind of like took some of the words off of the sticker, and then is trying to sell it as if it's his for $3 more than she's selling it for. I'm like, that's okay. That's not healthy, first of all. Second of all, that is so immoral as to be reprehensible. I went ahead and I reported it for intellectual property theft, but I don't know if Amazon will do anything about it.
Hopefully. I mean, they're pretty stringent on that kind of shit. A lot more than you'd think.
I hope so. She doesn't deserve that. Like, she's kind of awesome. I don't want to see that happen to her. Although, I mean, I understand that, the whole plagiarism thing tends to happen to, like, all of the really big names at some point. Mm-hmm. But
there's been a couple things. I can't remember who I saw that got in trouble for it, but like they're really pulling lines from other books in their book.
And, like, I know a big one is like song titles. Like people who are writing like contemporaries, they'll build like a playlist or they'll quote songs or song titles. But there's a very like you have to be actually licensed by the artist to do that. And
I think you can do song titles, but you can't do lyrics.
Even with titles, there's some red tape to cut through there, which I didn't know. There was this whole discussion by some literary agents, some authors going on recently about it. Like, it was weird, but I don't know. Just like, all right, well, I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to stick to writing epics, so I don't have to worry about quoting current songs and, like, I don't even listen to current music when I'm writing. I listen to, study music jazz.
Nice.
Yeah.
I've been listening to Nicotine Dolls a lot lately, and The Voice. Norway, I think last year they had a really good singer on there that I liked, and I just kind of replay his songs sometimes. So like I do like The Voice covers and shit like that. So I'm a weirdo. But
I have a Spotify playlist of all of my favorite like classical music or like current more modern music that is written in a classical theme. So like some of them are even like movie scores, like the Jurassic Park theme or like stuff from the Harry Potter themes, or the Pirates of the Caribbean. And I started trying to write to that a little while ago. Epic fail because I get distracted. Can't be doing that shit. Nope, doesn't work. Now I can listen to stuff for inspiration, but I can't listen to it while I'm actively writing because I get distracted. Next thing I know, I'm rocking out to the overture of 1812. I don't know.
I put pop music on usually in the background, songs that I've heard over and over again. So it's like I can get into that kind of trance. And a lot of the times um, the structure of the song will inspire like scene structure, but I won't be listening to the words. It'll be the music because I have the words in my head that are somewhere else. So like, and pop music is usually so repetitive.
There's no words, and I still can't stay focused.
I think it's something about the repetitive words in the background that let my brain just turn. So I used to have this folk music that it was literally the same line over and over again. Sometimes one of them was like busting up a Starbucks, just that over and over and over again, walking, trying to think of story things. And so repetitive words will occupy some part of my brain that lets the other side figure shit out. So that's why I like doing that kind of stuff. But I know a lot of people who cannot do words, especially a lot of my ADHD friends cannot do words because it distracts them. So
especially with writing the epic, like I at one point had been listening to music kind of more towards like the beginning things that I had written, and noticed that like my verbiage was much more modern than I had wanted it to be. So that's going to be an issue with the editing process too. And like when we sit down and start working on character voices, like trying to make that distinction, because the language that I'm trying to use for this is more appropriate for an epic than, modern slang and just the way sentence structure is put together today.
There's a good book I just finished reading that did that with really good balance, because it's a different world, and so therefore it could have some modern to it, but also was very old feeling aesthetically. The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig. Very good book. I think if you want to study how those things come together, maybe not now while you're writing, but maybe after you're done with your first draft before you start revision, to read some stuff like that, that might help you pinpoint what other people are doing, what you might take away from what they're doing, so that you can create a cohesive voice in your story. Does that make sense? If that's a worry of yours.
And it's interesting too, like, because so my characters, particularly like my male lead and my female lead, I've got, my female lead, Zahara, she was born royal. She was raised royal. She went to the royal academies, and she kind of hides behind that formality, sort of a coping mechanism and a shield for her in public spaces, just keeping up that facade. But she also has the ability to be more casual and more sarcastic and more playful. So trying to find that balance without slipping into too far into the real world verbiage is fun. And then Malachi, he's been raised in the palace since he was 7, but he was born to a peasant family. So he pays a lot of deliberate attention to how he interacts with people, both verbally and non-verbally, because he's got a whole lot of internal insecurity about, his origins and his place in the royal family, and how that balances for him personally.
Because he can have shit taken away from him, whereas she's not as likely to have that happen. So
right. So coming up with his voice has been a bit of a challenge, and like separating the two, because, there's crossover between the more casual and the more formal for both of them, but how that balances for each of them should be very, very different. And I'm not there yet. So now it's just words on paper, and then trying to figure out where the balance lies for each of them, where that equilibrium is. And then, of course, bedroom scenes, that's a whole different vernacular. Like,
as we've talked about before. Yeah, word choices and that are always fun.
Yeah.
I feel like, semi-side note, but intimate scenes, I feel like my intimate scenes have become very routine because I write so many of them now.
Yeah.
Oh, goodness. Although this last book that I just finished, I got to be a little bit darker. Because it was in the name. I can't say the name legally, but a lot of darker impulses in that book. It was more of a romantic suspense reverse harem, so I got to let some of those darker things out, which was fun, which is not what I normally write. So, I mean, not hurting anybody, but
right,
tying people up and stuff.
Yeah, so that's a fun thing, like, because, particularly if you're not part of the BDSM alternative lifestyles, so like doing the research on how that works and how to make that play well on page is fun. I have a whole series of books that I bought as sort of reference books, and I have to keep them in the brown Amazon packages that they came in because my kids don't leave shit alone. And the last thing I need them questioning, I have it buried, or I'd show you, but is not right now. Sorry. Last thing I need right now is, my 11-year-old son asking me why there's a half-naked woman with, ropes around her tits. I just, no. I can't handle that right now.
I just ordered a book. I think my interest was actually suggested from one of my bosses, who is a former romance writer, became cozy mystery writer. There's a lot of connections with a lot of authors. Like even one of my favorites, Megan March, that I love. She knew her when her first book came out. They were next to each other at a conference. She sent me a book that one of her friends wrote that changed the way she wrote. It's called 7-Figure Fiction: How to Use Universal Fantasy to Sell Your Books to Anyone. So it's like, essentially finding the butter of your writing. So the thing, if you put butter in anything, it's going to taste fantastic, right? That's one of the key ingredients. Like figuring out what the butter of your genre is and making sure you have it in every single book. So the way she described that to me was fantastic. So coming in tomorrow, I'm excited to have shit out of this book and like see if I don't learn something about what the butter is. Because it's only going to make me a better editor too. So better writer, better editor. If I end up liking the book, I'm going to tell you to get it. But when I get a recommendation from somebody who's been in the business for a long time, I tend to take it. So, yeah. Okay.
That's how I went up with this stack of reference books over here that I haven't even gotten halfway through yet because I was so focused on just getting the story on the page. But I did make it through like the first of the world buildings. Save the Cat Writes a Novel, and I'm about halfway through Story Genius. I started working on Story Genius again after I had the surgery, but then I realized that painkillers and trying to do research are not friends. They don't work well together.
See, this is something I would like to include in my hobbies or in my routine that I have not been doing. I haven't read a single nonfiction book this year, which is terrible because I've read like 85 books this year and I'm like, not a single one, really. But it's to get this kind of nonfiction in physical form because I feel like audiobooks, even though that's my preferred way of reading, doesn't work as well for a reference material like this. And to spend like, I don't know, 10 minutes a day reading it every day, because that would help me get through them. Like if I could just carve out 10 minutes a day to do some research that's going to make me a better writer, I'd probably do that as a part of my routine.
I bought my first audiobook.
Which one?
As we were in the process of moving out here, because I was like, oh, maybe I could listen to it on the plane or whatever. And it's a nonfiction. It's, I don't know if you've ever heard of it. It's called Into Thin Air. Mm-hmm. Okay, have you ever seen the movie Everest? Mm-hmm. All right. So it's based on this book, and the book was written by a journalist. It was his experience climbing Everest with a specific group of people back in the 90s, and how things shook out, and how many people died on it, and it's a whole big thing. So it's a nonfiction, and the story itself is very compelling. But I've always had trouble reading nonfiction because I just can't. Even if it's a very compelling story, I just can't fall into it the way I can with fiction. And so that was one of the reasons for looking into doing the audiobook of it. I was like, maybe that'll make more sense. But then I realized that like the suspicion that I had about myself, having watched like clips of, narration, and I like the way that I just interact with it is just not great because I keep focusing on the voice and several issues that I have with them. A, they never match what I think people sound like in my head. most narrators I've found they sound very scripted. Like they don't sound conversationalist. They don't sound like they're just telling a story. They sound like they're reading something.
Mm-hmm.
And I just can't. So I saw, some of my TikTok friends had recommended, well, try the graphic versions. Maybe that'll help. So I wasn't going to spend money on a graphic version before I watched some clips to see if it would work for me. And I'm just like, no, it doesn't work for me. Can't do it. I think audiobooks are fantastic for people who can read them. I'm just not one of those people.
That happens. I get it. I like to listen to audiobooks while I drive. If I'm in the shower, if I'm going for a walk, that kind of thing. So mostly it's because I'm very busy all the time, and I can't. It's not the kind of busy that I can let my brain focus on something else, because I can't write and listen to a book at the same time. Like, I just can't do that. I can't write and make social media posts at the same, or read and social media posts at the same time, or make videos at the same. Like, all of the things that I do take my full brain, except for driving, cooking, showering, that kind of thing. I'm just like,
that's why you burned out this summer. You need things that don't take your full brain.
Yeah. Lately I've been taking breaks, listening to a book and playing a game on my phone at the same time. Is my break. Because I can't just sit there and listen. I've got to be doing something with my hands too, like, or doing my diamond art while listening to a book.
I bought these little silicone touchstones.
Yeah.
They came in a pack. So some of them are textured, this one's not. But they're soft. Like I can, I'm texture junkie.
Actually squeeze them.
I also have this thing. I told you I quit vaping, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I still reach for it because of the habit. Like I've always, but I bought this fidget because it's about the same size as the vape that I was using.
And you can just kind of play with it.
Mm-hmm.
I have something that I've been meaning to use around here somewhere, and it's the kind of like castle sand, where you can like put kinetic sand or whatever. Mm-hmm. I want to have a little place for it on my desk where I could just, like, when my hands need to do something, instead of picking at myself, to just be able to like rub it through my fingers. But then I'm like, I'm going to make a mess out of it. I have cats. They're going to get into it. And so I haven't done it yet. I need a little container that would be good for my desk that I can put a little bit in there and play with it when I need to. But I haven't done it yet.
Just a little piece of Tupperware.
I figure myself.
Just get a little piece of Tupperware.
Yeah, I've got to find one somewhere. I should have some extra Tupperware somewhere. Ooh, sorry, I just saw a container on my shelf. I might actually work for it. I've got stuff in it right now, but I love my old book covers for my book journal.
Nice.
I'd print them, and then I'd have like one or two extra, and I'm like, where the heck did those come from? And then they go in here. I've got a ton of little things, like little throwaway containers that I could probably use. I have to do that. I got another really pretty one. Tell me how pretty this is. This was an OT container. Pretty. And so it's even got like, my thing's not working very well. Here we go. It's empty right now, but it's green and it's got gold foiling on it and the gold inside. Copper inside. Makes me happy. What am I going to do with it? I don't know, but I kept it.
There are these. I joined a Facebook group a while back for people who are into, the alternative processes for photography. And there's this guy, he does these, I forget what he calls them. He's Australian, so his terminology is different than what we would use, but it's a box about yay big, rectangular box. And one side opens and it unfolds, and each one has like a little like bucket shelf. Now he makes them out of kind of really sturdy paper, and I've been trying to research to try to find a way to make them out of thin wood so that they're more durable and they'll last longer. But then he does on the inside, he'll do like strips of wallpaper, so they're a really pretty decoration on the inside, and then on the outside he does cyanotypes. And then like he'll like paint the cyan. So one that he does a lot of is like peacock feathers. So he'll get the blue cyanotype for the peacock feathers, and then he'll get watercolor powders and use those to kind of tone the colors. So he'll get like, you know, pinks and purples and stuff in there, which is really cool.
That sounds like
I
it's
want to try
pretty.
doing it, but I got to figure out how to build the damn box first.
I don't know how to do that kind of stuff. You might know how to do that kind of stuff.
I think I'm probably going to ask my dad about building the box. You know, my dad's an engineer, so he might have some ideas. But the best that I could find was like little tiny mini like invisible hinge type things, and I'm like, that might work. But if I'm doing something like wallpapering, like it I don't know, it's funky. But
you don't have to show me.
I'll send you a picture. They are pretty. And I would like to be able to do that. And they're cool because like it's little like you have the wall and it's like I'm trying to figure out a way to describe this. Like okay. So you've got the wall of the box, right? And then on each side of the inside of the wall, you've got this little like topless box and they're stacked because it's like a Russian thing. So you can open it all the way. So you've got on this wall here, it's up here. On this wall, it's just below. On this wall, it's a little bit lower. So on and so forth. So when you open it, yeah, they're just stacked.
Okay.
And yeah, so you can put things in the little cubbies, which is really cool. But how much can you actually put in there if it's paper? So
they made for the papery things. Yeah.
I gotta figure that one out. But because it like
I got a lot of
open, you know.
Interesting. If I think about this too long, I'm just gonna like go down a rabbit hole of how would you do that, and then we'll be silent here, which is not here is for.
And then you'll mention it to Jason, and then he's gonna figure out how to do it because it's Jay.
He proposed a question to me yesterday that had me just like doing that, spiraling into it is a planner related thing. He goes, we need, you know, a planner that or some kind of thing form that Alex can fill out to track applying for jobs, when he applied, what the response was, did he get a response, how many times has he applied, etc. And I'm just like thinking like, what kind of columns would I need for that? Would I make that a printable so he can just print it out and fill it in by hand? Because I feel like that would work best for him. Like just like I just started going through all of those ideas because I make my own planner. I mean, the one I use every day. I think you've seen it. It looks like this. This is what my week looks like every week.
Yeah.
And so my brain went, yeah. And I was like, if I keep thinking about this, I'm not going to get anything done. Which happens to me a lot. Like this morning, reading my stories because I don't want to work right now. I don't want to. It's a good thing I don't have to write right now because I just do not feel like it.
I get that.
I hope my next book's a good one. I really hope my next one's a good one and not a suspense because I'm not good at writing those. You put vampires in there and I can do things all day long, but if you make a drug cartel my main concern, like I don't know how they work. So
I have spent so much time looking at like how to slowly build tension, both, you know, emotional tension, sexual tension, political tension, like, you know, how do I do that without like, you know, like how do I take a scalpel to it instead of an axe? Like, you know, like how do I make it very subtle but powerful? It's
hard.
It is.
Mm-hmm. See, on my last suspense one that I wrote, which was like a naval themed one, I had a gun cartel or something like that, illegal gun trade, and the review, because I checked the reviews, I actually get a lot of good reviews. All of my books are 4.5 or higher for that job, which makes me really excited. But there was one that, like, there's so many unanswered questions. This. I'm like, you're right. I didn't answer a single one of those questions. I didn't think it mattered, but I'm going to try to keep that in my brain for the reader, right? Because I mean, this isn't the genre that I read typically, anyways. So I'm hoping this next one's not so bad. I've had a couple. I've noticed most of my reviews are just like exactly what you would expect, exactly what I wanted. This I'm like, cool, because that's I'm pretty much just writing what's been done over and over again in a different character.
I
That is what that is. But
I'm in a weird place because I love a good suspense or a good thriller, a good mystery, but I haven't like in the last like year and a half ish, I haven't really like had the mental capacity to kind of put the brain power into a book. Like, and I think that's one of the reasons that I loved um things like Akatar and Fourth Wing so much because I didn't have to think about them, you know? So I haven't read a good suspense in a while because like I tried and I was just like, that's more energy than I have right now. I just don't.
some good romances is what I like for that.
Yeah.
When I need a break, I read a romance book. If you want a good, funny, I would say suspense is more of a cozy mystery because, it's not, there's a detective in it, but the detective's the love interest, and the actual person in the middle of all that shit is a mom, like a single mom of two. And it's a Finley Donovan series by El Casimano.
That sounds really familiar.
Oh yeah, it's becoming pretty popular. But they're absolutely ridiculous. Like there's no way that this shit would actually happen. But it's funny, and the character's entertaining enough that I'm like, this is one of the ones where you're like, I don't need my brain for this. Just entertain me. So if you want something adjacent to that might still be fun, that would be a good series to get into. I think there's 5 or 6 books now. I'm on book 4.
That's how I always felt about the Charlie Davidson series by Dorinda Jones. I love those books. I love them so much, but I've read them so much that like even though they're a comfort read for me, it's one of those things that like once you read your comfort reads too many times, you kind of need to separate yourself from it. But she's got such a strong sense of humor, and it's very, very present on the page.
Mom was listening to those while I was up in New York for those 6 weeks, so I got to semi hear it in the background.
She's so funny. I get such a kick out of her.
They are good. Those are good books. I like her voice, her author voice, and that it's very.
I've still been trying to find somebody who has not read those books to do a weird way of reading. Did you get through all 13 of them?
I've only myself read one of them, the first one.
Okay.
So it's been a while since I read it. But I've heard bits and pieces of the rest of them.
I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but there's an interesting way that you can read those books. Like if you've never read them before, if you want to read them in a very interesting way, you start on book 9 and you read up to a point where, without giving too much away, the ghost runs straight at her while she's tied to a chair. And as soon as he hits her, you stop, you bookmark it. And then you go back and read books 1 through 8. And then jump back into 9 through 13.
I think you mentioned she like lost her memory or something, or like amnesia.
Yeah.
So you suggested that to me before, I think, because book 1 was on one of my first line challenges, and I had you read the first line, and I had to rank them what I thought based on what I would like based on the first line, and then what you thought I'd like based on the first line. I don't know if you remember doing that.
I do. That's fun.
I think that was one of those books. It was book 1, and we talked about that then. It sounds interesting. I don't know if I remember I remember the bits and pieces I listened to with Mom, but I don't know the whole story. But I do know some probably major spoilers in it. That'd be interesting.
Well, I'm trying to remember if book 1, because like it's one of those series that like book 1 starts off like this is her everyday life. This is the life that she expects to have, so on and so forth. And then like throughout the series, she goes down this rabbit hole of like who she is, her place in the world, the effect that she has on everything around her. And it just gets more and more detailed and more layered. And so the first book is, did you ever watch the Avengers movies?
I might probably at some point watch a couple of them.
So the first Avengers movie, just like the first Iron Man movie, they start off very lighthearted. They're very funny. Like they're, kind of a blip in everyday life for these characters. And as you get further into the series, things get more intense. They get darker. There's more mature themes, similar type of vein, right? And so if all you've read is book 1, you could probably do the book 9 thing without spoiling a whole hell of a lot for yourself.
It sounds like an interesting challenge.
I mean, you won't have the what the hell is going on for the first 3/4 of book 9. Like you won't be totally lost, which is like the effect that I would like to see somebody have, like just kind of trying to piece together, like, because you can probably piece together a lot of the little things and the little interactions, but there's, like I said, going back through books, up through book 8, there's a lot of layered depth that happens that you miss if you haven't read those books. So I think it'd be cool for somebody to do that and then review how they liked it and what they thought. Yeah.
It's an interesting one. I might try that. The only thing that would be weird for me is that because I listen to them audiobook and I borrow them from the library, how quickly can I get back book 9 when I'm ready for it? I mean, it would save my place, which is nice.
Yeah.
I might think about doing that. Do you want to read your series? There's on my list of series to read. I have a challenge that says read more than like a 5-book or more series and a 10-book or more series. So that might be a good one for that challenge this year. If I can get there. I have finished so many series this year. It was one of my goals this year to at least finish 2 series. And I think I've finished like 5 or 6 now. Which makes me super excited.
Awesome. I was gonna say, we have like 3 months left in the year. Sorry, 4. We have left in the year.
Fucking A, really. I keep forgetting it's almost September.
I'm so excited to be back on the East Coast and, closer to family and everybody. And there's so much that I want to do while we're here. And I keep thinking about it, and like, we don't know exactly when we're leaving next summer to go to Japan. But like every time I think of all the things that I want to do, I'm like, oh my God, I have no time. Like time's just gonna get away from me. Like, for example, like next weekend, I'm going to be in North Carolina photographing a wedding, which I have never done.
It's fun. I've done a couple.
Look, when I tell you that I was very tempted to ask you to fly out and be my second shooter, I'm not fucking joking. Like, because I don't have a second shooter, I don't have lighting, I've never done this before, and like my couple knows that. Like, she's a good friend of mine, but.
One piece of advice: have a list that you can literally check off of all like the specific kinds of not candid shots, the like but setup ones, so that you make sure you get all of those ones that a couple's gonna want, and then otherwise just pay attention and keep snapping.
She sent me some screenshots, and I think other than the very scripted ones that she wants, which there's not a lot of, I think the plan is to kind of shoot more documentary style. But I'm still like really nervous. So I'm going to be there with my 2 cameras, neither of which is a professional level camera. I've got a very good entry level DSLR and then a prior version for the film camera. But I've got some really good lenses, so.
It's more of like knowing your settings than it is really the quality. It being a professional camera.
Honestly, I think what I'm going to end up doing is throwing it on a shutter speed priority and just leaving it there. I think that's probably the most effective way to do it. I do need to.
I would say get in there a little bit early before the actual wedding part, and like when you set that shutter, just go in and like do a couple test shots and see which one you like better, and then leave it on that setting. But if you can get in there early,
like, because the scripted shots are going to be a whole lot different than all of the candid shots, and then we've got the lighting's going to change throughout the evening, and like I said, I don't have stand lights or anything. I thought about renting some, but man, that shit's expensive.
Is it going to be a late wedding, like into the evening, or is it going to be early during the day?
It's um, so it starts at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. And the reception's immediately afterwards. So
it's gonna get dark.
yeah.
Okay.
And I need to go back through and look at galleries from the because I'm not there to like physically walk through the space. So I need to look at their galleries and see kind of. But yeah, no, I was like very tempted to just be like, and honestly, if I'd gotten the settlement already, I probably would have asked you to come out. I don't know. I'll buy your ticket. Just come help me with this.
That's funny. Is that the one this October?
No, so that's my cousin, and that's in Baltimore, or right outside of Baltimore. No, this is Taylor's daycare teacher from North Carolina. She absolutely loved Taylor, and she and I got to be pretty close, during that, that week that we were losing Hannah. She was very, very good about being there for Taylor and being, the support that she needed. And so she and I have stayed in touch. We're pretty close now. And so her mom passed away a few months ago after she got engaged. And that came with, my understanding is that came with some unexpected financial decisions, of course, because it always does. And so as they were planning the wedding, they were looking at things that were like, okay, what are the things that are, that we consider absolutely necessary that we have to have? And, in a situation like that, unfortunately, a photographer is one of the first things to go, because everybody's got a camera on them all the time. You can set up for much cheaper. You can set up a Dropbox, for people to just share their mobile photos. So, I had told her, I was like, look, I am by no means a professional. And with a wedding, I have no idea what I'm doing. And I really suck at portraiture. But if you want me to, I will come shoot your wedding if I'm available. And she wants, Taylor's her flower girl. So we got to be there anyway.
There you go. Just kind of like your present to her is like, let me just come take some pictures. So I know I did that for your sister.
Yeah, so
I get it. I mean, that's a good way of doing that. You'd be surprised at how many amateur, like just photography of your guests, how good some of those shots can be. Because half the time I feel like it's luck to get a good shot. Right place, right time, right time with it. Like it's just.
I photograph the way that I write and just do a whole lot, and then go back through and be selective. Because I know if I take 2,000 pictures, I might get 400 that are amazing shots.
And that's still a lot. So
that always been that I learned standing on a boat in Monterey Bay trying to get pictures of whales. So
just keep taking pictures and you'll get one of them. That was literally my strategy when I was a photography major, like my first major in college. People used to ask me, how did you get that shot? I'm like, I just kept taking pictures. You didn't see the 200 that I took.
Yeah.
Because I picked the good one. And that's the trick, is you just take a whole freaking bunch of them. I mean, I'm sure, as you get more practice, you can time that better and stuff, but.
Yeah. And I think, and I absolutely love working with prints. So I'm going to take a couple of rolls of film, some 35 millimeter, and I think for the most part, I will keep those to the scripted pictures and like the bridal party pictures. And, the pictures of the decor and the cake and, her shoes or whatever, I'll keep those to film, and then everything else I'll just shoot on digital. So.
Part of me says do both. So when you do the scripted ones, do both your film and your digital.
Yeah. With the scripted ones, I'll do both. But for the film itself, I think I'll limit that to.
Film's expensive and printing it can get expensive.
That, and there's a community darkroom here. Actually, I have an orientation that I have to go to on September 17th before I can start using it. But like the open hours are very limited. So, and then they also don't provide paper developer. They provide all the other chemistry, but So one thing I hate doing, that I hate developing negatives. So I'll probably drop those at like I always get the bent corner. Like no matter what I do, I always get the bent corner in the reel. And so I think I'll probably just drop those off with a Photoshop and have them develop the negatives for me so that I don't have that issue. And then I'll handle enlarging the prints. But it's, it's like 5 days a week, they have 3 hours. Most of them are in the evening. Saturdays are mornings. And it's, $20 a session to go in and work the darkroom. But they use it to put, like, it's a nonprofit, but they put it back into the chemistry and the supplies and, the power and the rent.
That's fair enough. Yeah. Running it.
Yeah. So.
It's been a long time since I've been in a dark room. I used to love developing film, though. I was always really good at it.
For me, it's the loading the film in the reels. Hey, babe, welcome home. This is my husband. We're doing a live.
I know. Hello.
On YouTube.
That's funny.
So,
I forgot what we were talking about. Oh yeah,
developing
film.
I
used to do it in a bag, and I liked that.
So we didn't have to do bags because we didn't do color, but I have the head of the photography department. She was like, "What are you doing? Why are you low crawling?" Yeah. Thanks. No, you're not.
That was so a Jason move right there. I love it. Gotcha.
So I brought this home with me so that I could
practice.
But it gets harder. Like the more you do this with the same strand of film, the worse it gets because it gets all like. But it's janky. Yeah. And I know people that have better luck with the plastic reels. Mine, honestly, I have the same, like, it doesn't matter if it's paper or plastic. I'm going to screw it up anyway. So, like, see if I can. I haven't had to do this in a month.
Having to do things by feel is difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's because I've been blind most of my life, but I'm pretty good at doing things by feel.
So I'm nearsighted. Very, like, anything from here closer is, like, super crystal clear. But, see, even now, like, I can feel that there's bumps in it, and I'm only, like, 3 turns in. But again, the more you do it, the more crinkled the film gets, so it's harder. I have a roll of film in the camera right now that I'm probably just going to end up junking, so I may use that as my new practice one. But so I got through about half of it, and I know that none of the pictures came out, and then it went through TSA. So chances are the X-ray has exposed it. Anyway.
I've never used one like that. Mine, we would feed the end into it and then turn something underneath.
Yeah, the plastic one.
Yeah. That's what we had in high school when I took photography in high school.
So. Yeah, so we had these, and then we had the plastic ones at MPC. But when I was first taught in Greg's class, he used these ones. He didn't like using the plastic ones. Becky prefers the plastic ones. So, yeah, learn something new every semester. But.
Well, Beck, I gotta pee like a racehorse. Did we want to do any writing today, or like I don't know what I'm doing with my life right now, but I'm kind of hungry and I gotta pee.
Yeah, I haven't eaten lunch yet, and I've got to leave in about an hour to go pick up the monster. So.
Okay, well, it was good talking about. I mean, we mostly talked about books.
Yeah, mostly.
But
one thing we did talk about is making this a habit and doing themes. So
yeah,
we'll have to develop that a little bit more.
Yeah, we'll have to chat. Yeah, thanks for coming there.
I'll see myself out.
Oh, Lordy. I will text you a little bit later, and we will figure out when our next
Okay,
live
sounds
is.
good.
If I can words. Okay, love you, honey.
Words are fine. Love you too. Bye.
Bye.